All right, so it's always a pleasure when I have an opportunity to meet other professionals, speak to other professionals about the passion that I have about helping families, businesses, and individuals get through life's challenges. That such opportunity occurred for me a couple of months back when I discovered an absolutely great organization, the National Association of Divorce Professionals, and is headed by Vicky Townsend, who I had such a honor of actually speaking on the phone, and that's why the power of social media and resources is so important. I literally reached out and touched her. I thought she was one of these things where she's too big for the small guy, and here she is, responded back to me, and we met up, and here we are sharing her vision, which is going to be the first in Florida anyway, the National Association of Divorce Professionals, March 7th through 9th, 2019, grand seminar, which is 3 days of divorce professionals. If you do share in that divorce space, this is an opportunity for you to see what resources are around for you, see how networking can build your business, and see how together, when you pool your resources, how you can create something great. That's just a little bit of what she's going to offer with this seminar. As always, there's always an opportunity to share. So what I'm going to do is turn it over to Vicky and have her introduce herself.
Thanks so much for having me. You are so awesome. And just an FYI, I actually found you on social media, my friend. I was looking for some really powerful people within the mediation world, and you came up. So I found you. So yes, social media is amazing, and we use it all the time. I'm a big LinkedIn user. So you and I connected on LinkedIn, so that's, you know, just super, that's awesome. So I'm grateful to have met you, my friend, and I'm grateful to be here tonight. And what I would love to do is share a few things that we're doing. These people that we're talking to today, I understand you are all in Florida, and we are grateful to have you on here today. And I wanted to give you a little bit of background because we started the National Association of Divorce Professionals this month. We launched our first chapter in Boca Raton, and now we are working on, we have 33 launched, and we'll probably have 41 by summer. And we're growing pretty exponentially, and we are doing some really cool things. And the concept of the NADP is different. It's very unique. We unite all of the professionals that touch on the divorce process. And our tagline is because it takes a village, and that's because it takes a village to get a client through this. And it's not just a family law attorney on the legal side. Obviously, there's mediation involved, which is why you guys are so important. But there's real estate law involved, bankruptcy law, sadly criminal law is involved in almost 1 out of every 4 divorces in this country. There's bankruptcy and immigration and adoption, will and estate planning. And that's just on the legal side. I'm sure I've left out a lot of things. Oh yes, business, because and even in my case, we had to use business attorneys and untangle ourselves from business. It's everybody. People that touch their money, so their accountants, their financial advisors, their bankers, because all bank accounts change, their mental health counselors, marriage counselors, child psychologists, and individual therapists. And then interestingly enough, some of the first people that learn about the divorce process in a family is oftentimes a realtor, because somebody's going to move. So, and of course mortgage, and some other things within the family home, and of course businesses, commercial properties, and things like that. So what we did was we saw that there was a hole in the referral cycle within the divorce process. And that hole is that nobody talks about it, right? Nobody, you know, takes a selfie with their divorce attorney. They don't check in when they're at their deposition at the courthouse, and they don't, you know, post their divorce decree on Instagram or Pinterest. You know, it's just one of those things that still has that level of shame and just I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm done with this. I don't want to talk about it. I don't need to share all of those experiences. And Stanley, if you were a mediator and nobody talked about your great mediation services, nobody would know about you, and you'd fall. You'd go out of business. If a restaurant, if nobody checked in or nobody talked about how great the food was, or the opposite of how bad the food was, it would impact the business in that restaurant. And so what we've done is we've brought the divorce professionals, people that are those trusted advisors, have that trusted advisor role within the divorce process, those people that I just mentioned. We bring them all together so that they can network and be a resource for everyone in the chapter, as well as find resources for their families. And it's working really well. We have amazing stories of some amazing impacts that we've made already, and we look forward to making that change kind of even better. And so thank you for allowing me the time to talk about the NADP experience that's coming up here in Florida. If you are with us, it is March 7th through the 9th, so I know that there's a lot of, you have to clear your calendars, and this is not last minute, but almost last minute. And so we have a concierge on our end that will help you register, make sure that you are all set up and ready to go. We are doing it on Fort Lauderdale Beach. We were very smart because everybody in the Northeast is clamoring to get here. We have people from Chicago. Chicago filled up the most of our registrations last week. Gee, I wonder why, when they found out that they could get down here and get some sunshine and some vitamin D. But if you'll scroll down, I'd love to show you guys, to me, the most important thing that I'd love to share with your listeners here today is that we have Bill Eddy coming for a 3-hour workshop on Thursday the 7th. If you can click over on this, on that day, this is it. It's New Ways. It's his New Ways for Families program. It's 3 hours, and it is going to be jam-packed with ways that you can identify and manage your high-conflict families. And, you know, what other industry has as much conflict and chaos as the divorce process? I'm not sure that there's many that rival our chaos and conflict. Bill Eddy is the founder of the High Conflict Institute. I don't know if you know him. If you don't, if you do a little bit of research on him, you will see that this man has written, I think, about 14 books on this very subject, and he is world-renowned in how to deal with high-conflict personalities. So we have him coming in. I wanted to make that special invitation to your listeners today because we know we've already gotten this approved. Our whole conference has been approved for Florida bar credits. So we want your people to come and be a part of that and take a part of this. So we have Bill Eddy on the first day. We have a cocktail reception on Thursday night. On Friday, if you want to go through Friday, and we can take a look at some of the amazing things that we have planned for you. And most importantly, not only do we have great divorce-centered education, we have awesome networking opportunities with the centers of influence within divorce, and we have marketing experts that will help you talk about how to brand yourself and how to be online and look like the professional that you are. So we've got a former CBS reporter, Silva Harapetian. She is from CBS, and she is now a media consultant. And she's going to be teaching us how to, be that go-to person. How is it that somebody, you see the same people, they get the call that, recently we had the announcement of the Jeff Bezos divorce. The world's richest man is getting a divorce. Well, that has been everywhere. People have been talking about that trend. And on the news, they actually went out, and actually one of our members in New York is quoted, actually from Connecticut, is quoted in a national magazine about that very topic. So how do you become that go-to person? We have, if you take a look, we have topics on how to help you with your online marketing. We have investigative tools, how to, what is involved with social media, how do you keep your clients out of trouble with their social media. We have things for mental health, how to make and win your point with a narcissist. I've had my fair share of dealing with narcissists, so I'm going to be sitting in on that one, trying to avoid that. but we've got things for finances, and we've got breakouts for dealing with domestic violence. We have a judge and sheriff coming in to talk about that process, so that how you can identify domestic abuse in someone's home, and how it is that you have to report that, because if you don't do it correctly, you can actually endanger someone's life. So we want you to know how to handle those processes. So we've got all of that coming up for you. If you want to take a look, we can take even a look at Saturday's schedule. But if you all are interested in learning more, the website is nadpexperience.com. And I would love to offer our concierge to help you register and get all set for that. But here's Saturday. We have, if you're in Florida, maybe you've heard of Susan Constantine. She is an amazing body language expert. She has been on every national news show, the Today Show, Good Morning America. She's been on Dr. Phil. She's been on everything, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. I mean, she's been on it all, and she is an expert in identifying within 7 seconds if your client is being deceptive. And gosh, isn't that? I wonder if there's any deception in divorce. What do you think, Stanley? Anybody?
Before I even met Susan, Ms. Constantine, I delved into the ability to check on people. But I do know her. I know her work. She is phenomenal. And deception. Yes. Here's the funny part about deception and mediation. You have 4 people usually, the attorneys on both sides and the participants, and guess what? They all are giving you some level of deception at some point in time in a 4 to 5 hour mediation. So yeah, we know about that a little bit.
Absolutely. So we are really trying to introduce you to as much information about the divorce process so that you can take that back and manage your clients better. And our goal and our mission is to make the divorce process as crappy as it is, because it's never going to be great. It doesn't have a bad reputation for no reason, right? I mean, this business can, this industry can destroy families. And we know that this process can be done better. And I know that everybody that's watching this right now feels the same way, because you guys are mediators, and you guys are trying to avoid the financial and emotional destruction that comes along with divorce. That's why we love mediators. We love mediators in our membership, because they're so important to this process. And our goal is to make this a better process with families by bringing together highly vetted, highly experienced professionals that can start to build a team of resources within each other. So you know that they've been vetted. You know that their license is in good standing. You know that they have no pending disciplinary action against their license. You know that their social media ratings and all of those things say that they do what they tell you that they do, and that they do a good job at it, because we take a look at that as well. So we are excited to have it there at the high level, that high center of influence networking. We've got all sorts of fun things planned for you, as well as some really serious topics. And you and I talked, Stanley, about one of the issues about in this process is how do you become that person? How do you build those relationships with those centers of influence so that you are top of mind awareness? And it's by seeing someone each and every month, letting them know what problems you solve for their clients. And if you don't, we have some people that will stand up in an NADP chapter meeting, and they'll say, hi, my name is Vicky Townsend, and I'm a financial advisor with Morgan Stanley. And then all of a sudden they sit there and go, well, why is this working for me? I don't understand. And I looked at them, and this was a real case scenario, and I said, because nobody knows where to bring you in. Nobody knows what problems you solve. They don't know what you know, and you're just a financial advisor. And right now, Stanley, you and I are fighting colds, and I'll tell you right now, if I walk outside of my front door, I can sneeze and get 4 financial advisors sick and 3 realtors. And so everything that you do is that you have to let people know, if you're working with divorcing clients, how you solve problems and what you know. You have the opportunity to do that at an NADP meeting. You will have an opportunity to do that at this conference that we have coming up on Fort Lauderdale Beach. And excuse me. And building relationships and coming into this industry, whether you're new or not, but you haven't really been, that networking kind of person. And I'd like to think of this as not networking, but more about relationship building, because it really does take relationships. Nobody is going to put their shattered and broken family into your hands if they don't know that you know what you're doing. And that doesn't come because you sit next to somebody at a luncheon or a breakfast. It comes with time and an investment of your time, an investment in getting to know them, the person that you're trying to get to know, being a resource for them, and being accessible, and building over time deep relationships that will last your business forever. So if you feel that this is something that you want to know more about, if you'd like to be a part of the NADP or come to a chapter meeting, we are all over the state of Florida now. We have chapters. We're not quite up in the northern side of Florida yet, but we are. And P.S., if you guys would like to help us start chapters in any city, we are more than interested in helping you do that. We are in from Tampa, Orlando, South. We've got 15 chapters in Florida. So maybe we have one for you, and if not, we'd love to help you launch a chapter of your own. And so let me tell you, I'll just tell you a little bit about who is in our chapters so that this can start to make sense to you, and who will be at the Experience 2019. Our members are from all over the legal field and mediation, both attorney mediators, mental health mediators, and just land mediators, right? So we'll have those people free there. We have people that touch that client's money, so financial advisors and accountants, tax attorneys is another one, bankers, because everybody's bank account changes. We have all of the mental health and mental health support in those chapters, and those people that deal with their mutually held assets, and those are mostly their residential property, as well as investment properties and maybe commercial properties. So if you come to the NADP and it's new to you and you go to the Experience 2019, it is expected behavior for you to introduce yourself and to let people know what it is that you do to solve problems for their clients in the divorce process. So it's not an uncomfortable conversation. It's expected behavior. It's expected conversation to have, because we want you to, we don't want you to be the financial advisor that doesn't let anybody know what they do. We want you to voice what it is that you do, meet and make some really great connections. We're going to expect somewhere between 200 and 250 certified and licensed professionals. And we would love to have you and your team on this call be with us. And we have a special code that we have created just for Stanley's gang of excellence. And do you want to tell them what that is, Stanley? I'm going to just touch my nose for a second. Excuse me.
Good. Since you're taking a breath, let me jump in. That code is E as in Edward, M as in Mary, C as in Cat, 50. So EMC 50. And let me just, thank you for wiping your nose. I've been waiting to jump in and say how, this is not because I met you and I appreciate you. I just appreciate what you're saying, because I network like bananas, like wildfire. I know everyone from the highest level of socioeconomic circles to the lowest. I travel in all circles and therefore mediate deal, consult, facilitate a number of types of organizations throughout the state of Florida, actually the actual country. And what you said, I rarely hear from someone like you, and you haven't even said who you are. Truly, you are an amazing person. But that's another story, maybe. What you said that I want to piggyback on right now is just how people who want to be part of the NADP, how are you going to be a resource for them? Your focus is not just telling people, hey, it's about you, but what can you throw in the pot? How can you help the fellow professional? And that's the difference. No one is always about me, selfie, me. Here's what I have, 1,000 likes. You're going beyond that, and you're trying to teach young, and I'm finding out my 50, 60-year-old mediator pluses that are now jumping into this game or have been a part of this game, why their businesses aren't doing so well because they're not socially aware. They're depending on that law school friend from 40 years ago to feed them work. And guess what? They're going to feed you work 2 or 3 times a year, maybe. What about the rest?
How about when they retire, Stanley? That's what ends up happening, or they get out of the business. Sometimes people or they move.
Yep.
The good news and bad news is that, it's not like you own a McDonald's franchise, right? It's not when you have, repeat customers again and again and again and again and again. So you have to spread your wings and talk to and build relationships with a lot of different people from the community. And you have to build those bonds of trust, because if they don't trust that you are going to take care of their clients, and that's not going to recommend you, Stanley. They're just not going to do it. If they feel, we always talk about having commission breath. Do you know what I mean by that? When you're just too salesy, have you ever met somebody that's just going, I just don't want to meet them because they're just going to try and sell me on something?
Well, I never knew it was called commission breath, but I like it.
That's what we call it. That's what we call it, because it doesn't. It's like, this doesn't feel right, doesn't smell good. And so we really, we work. You ask what's in it for your members. So some of the things that we do is, we really. At an NADP meeting, it is really and truly expected behavior for you to talk about what you do and how you solve problems in the divorce process. End of story. You really need to do that, and we know that. So we really foster that, and we foster relationship building because we know that, SEO on the Internet will take you so far. The difference between
SEO means?
Search engine optimization.
Thank you.
And so that you can be found on Google. And, there's just over 1 million divorce cases in the United States every year. But there's 11 million people researching divorce every year because there's a lot of people that are, I want a divorce, right? And they have no intentions, but they'll maybe make a phone call. They're not a highly qualified client for your business or for somebody that that's in your chapter. So what we find is if you join a like-minded chapter where the client base is very similar, has very similar lifestyles, similar issues, similar financial ability, because let's face it, this is not an inexpensive proposition. So, we kind of take that phone call from those, and I don't want to say this isn't the right word, but so I already know that it sounds bad when it's coming out of my mouth. But those tire kickers, people that are just, they want to know a little bit about the process. So we want to take that out of your day-to-day business model and bring to it a highly credible referral source, people that are working in the divorce process. So some statistics about our chapters. Our smallest chapter, they have approximately 300 cases of divorce going through all of the professionals that are in that chapter throughout the course of a year. That's on the small side. We have one up in Orlando that has over, and this was a while ago, and they're bigger now, but they did a survey with their own chapter members, and they had over, at the time, 1,200 cases of divorce going through all of their members. Now, does that mean that you have an opportunity to do business with 1,200 cases? No, and especially not if they don't know where to put you, if that makes sense. So our 50% of our chapter members work on 35 cases of divorce a year or more. And so if that gives you a little bit of an idea of, what's going on and your obligation, if you should decide to be a part of this with us, is to, like I said, let them know when to bring you in, what do you do, what do you solve, and how can you create a better situation for their family. And that's what you have to do. One of the other things that we do and we provide is when somebody Googles you, typically your NADP profile comes up right, usually it's on the first page of Google, usually it's on the first few links on your, if somebody Googles you. We want you to look like the professional that you are. So we work with you on your LinkedIn profile, but we have our own profile, so it'll say Stanley Zamore, National Association of Divorce Professionals. Somebody can click on you. They can find out about your license. They can find out about your experience. They can get your contact information, your email, your phone, how they can contact you, and they can learn about you before before they make that phone call to see if you're the person to use. And we also do what we call lunch and leverage calls on the third Thursdays of every month. And on those calls, we usually have either one of two things: continuing education credits for some of our members. There's Bill. There you go. Continuing education credits, or marketing and branding information for you, because it's really important to us, because what happens in an NADP referral is that people will refer Stanley Zamore as a mediator, and what happens is that that person goes back and they Google you, right? They're going to check you out. So what we try and do is make sure you look like the professional that we know you to be. We also have a company that will go through and do an inbound marketing assessment about what it looks like to look you up online. We're going to look on your website and make sure all your links are working, and we want to know that your social media, little Facebook and Twitter icons at the top of your website actually take you to a real active Facebook page or Twitter account. We want to make sure that your content is relevant and speaks to be the professional that you are. So we really want you to shine online, even though, like I said, our goal is not necessarily that search engine optimization per se. In our case, we just want you to look good. We want you to look professional, and that would also include, is your website, friendly with one of these things that we've got here. So we want to make sure that you show up and shine online, so that when somebody does research you, and we hope that you have your NADP member seal on your website and on your LinkedIn and on all of your social media channels, that they say that you are somebody that is a professional dedicated to the divorce process and making this a better process for families. So that's what we do. That's some of the things, and of course we have each chapter has a monthly meeting that's agenda'd. We have what we call an NADP Ed Talk, and those are from the members themselves, and it's not, hi, my name is Vicky Townsend, my address is 401 East Los Angeles Boulevard, and my office hours are Monday through Friday. It's not that. It's education and education only. So you'll learn about new legislation. You might learn about mediation, right? What the value of mediation, when to call in a mediator. You might learn about the market of real estate for your families. Because if you have a client that's in your office that's saying that they have to sell their home for $1 million in the next 2 weeks, or I'm going to burn it down and she's going to be in there with it, and you can come back from an NADP meeting and go, you know what, I know that the market is, that $1 million house that you think you have is really going to sell for around $850,000, and instead of 2 weeks, it's going to take you 4 to 6 months to sell, so that you can help manage your clients' expectations, or they can start to drop the price of the house, right? They can make some, they can start to make some adjustments to what's going on with them. So, our goal is to get you all educated on a holistic methodology, so that you can help your clients and tee them up for success. That's really what's going to happen, because everybody's on a roller coaster, an emotional roller coaster, a financial roller coaster. They're on, you know, every kind of roller coaster you can possibly name, and they don't necessarily know where to turn. At an NADP meeting, hopefully you will learn something, and you will also have resources to turn to and say, you know what, there's a new insurance product, or I know somebody that can help you with your, you know, you have to change your homeowner's insurance, excuse me. You have to change your homeowner's insurance or your car insurance. You have to change your life insurance policies. You have to get child support protected. There's all sorts of things that have to change in that family's life. So you'll have those resources at your fingertips. So those are just a few of the benefits. And of course, we do some really, we're going to be doing, this is our first conference, and we are really super excited about it. We're talking about that's cryptocurrency. That's really an interesting topic because everybody can hide cryptocurrency. It's really, really interesting. So we are excited about this being the first of many. It will probably be the last one in Florida for a while because we really want to go. We have a lot of chapters up in the Northeast, in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Boston. So we want to do something up there maybe next year. So we are going to be pretty much in your own backyard this year, and we really hope that you will be a part of that with us. And if I can, I'd love to give you the name of Chris DeMonte. Chris is a wonderful woman that will help you through this process and get you registered, and she will also make sure that you receive discounts that we talked about with Stanley. And also, just an FYI, just because we just got our continuing education credits for so many of our members, not just legal, but we have financial continuing education credits, we have mental health education credits. So we did that all within the last like 7 to 10 days. So we had an early bird special. It was going to expire last Friday, but we have now extended it to February 15th. So you will save another $100 if you go ahead and go register. So I'd love it if you would reach out to Chris, and she's KRIS at thenadp.com. Make sure that you use the word the in there, or else you end up talking to a bunch of dentists. So it's Chris at thenadp.com. Make sure that you use the code for Stanley, which is EMC, right?
The EMC 50, 50.
EMC 50, and you'll save another $50. So we look forward to hearing from you, Stanley. I know that you know that relationships are critical to this process. Education is critical to this process, and connections and collaboration are critical to this process. So I thank you for giving me this platform and introducing me to your peeps. If you have any questions for me, you can email me. I'm Vicky, and I'm Vicky with a Y. We all have to have our weird spellings, right? I'm Vicky with a Y at thenadp.com. That's THENADP.com. And we look forward to having your peeps there with you, because you and your partner are going to be on one of our panels talking about why it's important to become a state-certified mediator.
Yeah, definitely, and I want to thank you for the opportunity, because being Supreme Court certified mediator in family is it really is. I mean, if you want to do the job and do it well for the families, you didn't do it for the money. You didn't do it just because you were just retiring. You may start off that way, but when you see that ability to change and model better communication habits, better ways to see past that unfortunate opportunity, it just changes everything. And of course, it's all about the babies. It's all about the children, and modeling that good communication, modeling that better behavior. You can't be 100%. Of course, you can't be 100%, but it moves the ball towards a more cohesive understanding of how we can have better families. And once we have better families, we do have better communities. Period.
We do.
You know?
We do.
So,
and you guys are making such a big impact, and you know, we're trying to break a terrible cycle in families too, with the conflict and the chaos in families. It just ends up being, you know, recycled down to the children, and we really want the children to have a better experience and a better process themselves. So thank you. I appreciate it. Please reach out to us. I look forward to hearing from everyone, And if there are any questions, you can reach out to Chris. You can reach out to me. Stanley will be there. So we look forward to seeing you March 7th through the 9th. We're going to be at the Westin Hotel on Fort Lauderdale Beach.
Awesome. All right, you enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and please take care of that sniffle. I don't want to.
No, I'm just. You too. I know that you're just getting in the beginnings of it. It's nasty. So take vitamin C, everybody.
All right. See you later. Bye.
Thanks so much. Bye for now.